everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome back to Making It Simple. We're going to pick right back up where we left off yesterday. As Paul has written this letter in Philippians, and many of us have heard this, be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything. We've heard that. And we've heard about the peace of God that surpasses all understanding shall keep your hearts and your minds through Christ. Paul here is speaking of not merely just being satisfied or accepting something just for so. What he's speaking about is knowing. Knowing something, having absolutely no doubt. In other words, if God said it, God meant it, and I believe it. How do we get there? How do we determine, or not even determine, let me correct that. How do we come to the place of believing that? Finding this peace of God. It requires that I find peace with God. You see, when my life is in the right place, when I'm walking with Him, when that relationship is beginning and developing and moving forward, evolving into more, that it is not just merely a surface level religiosity. I go to church on, Christmas and Easter, and yeah, I believe and I've got a Bible. I don't want to speak negatively toward those things, but generally, if that's all there is, it has no impact on your life. Okay, this is a daily walk. This is comparative to being married. Okay, if you are married and you see your spouse twice a year, that is not much of a marriage. It's really not. And again, I don't want to be cruel. But in this relationship with God, if I've got peace with God, then my next step is to find the peace of God. Because that is what, as Paul says here, keeps my heart and my mind. All right, this is what helps me get through every day. This is what helps me get to a better and healthier place, because God has promised, and I actually believe that. Okay, and that gives me something to hold on to. That gives me something to get me through the next day when things aren't going well, because that's going to happen. That's going to be life. That is going to happen. And when things aren't going well, we need the peace of God. And we're able to determine that it's there, that it's real, because I have peace with God. Because I know when I'm walking and I'm in that right heart relationship with Him, then I'm able to embrace the peace that God offers me, which is that peace of God. Because there are going to be times that we feel like the world is turning upside down. I talk to people all the time, and many people have expressed that concern right now. Whether it's because of all the political upheaval or just the brokenness and chaos around the world, we see so many different optics that cause us to really, really, really hold on to some real grief. Some real hurt, some real things in our life that we really struggle with. And so if I have peace with God, in other words, my relationship with Him is settled, has the needle moved? Has the needle moved? Do I now have peace of God? Am I allowing Him to keep, to protect, to hold on to my heart and my mind? Because when anxiety begins to take over, when depression starts to try to creep in, when I'm ready to give up, when I don't know if life can continue, we need something else to hold on to. And it can't be just me. It can't be just, again, I speak of that individually, it can't be just myself, because obviously I'm not capable of holding this together. We need His peace. We don't need to just acknowledge that He's there. We need what He offers, friends. Because oftentimes we can acknowledge that something is there. We can acknowledge that, I'm in my office working. I can acknowledge that Walmart is across the street and they've got everything in there I need. But it does me no good unless I go get it. See, if I have peace with God, knowing, I believe and all this other stuff, but I don't have the peace of God, I'm not allowing it to operate in my life, it's not helping me. Back in the early 1900s, a man named Charles Tindley, okay, he wrote these words. And many people went on to record it, very, very well known, old time kind of a gospel song. Elvis recorded these words, different ones, and it said, "When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When the world is tossing me like a ship out on the sea, thou who rulest wind and water, stand by me." That's the peace that we need. That's the peace that we should be seeking. And this is the peace that God is telling us. Paul here through this letter is telling us we can have. That's why he starts off by saying, don't worry about everything. In fact, he says, don't worry about anything. Now, one may be saying, "Now, Pastor, wait a minute. Man, I worry about stuff all the time." Does that make your life better? Jesus was teaching the gospel. He said, who of you have added one thing, 1 minute, 1 inch, one change, anything to your life, anything to your stature, anything by worrying? Now, that is a powerful question, because when we consider the answer is always nothing. I've not made it better at all. In fact, it's probably made it worse. That is not the peace of God. Here, Paul is saying, be careful for nothing. Be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything, but rather in everything, come to the Lord in prayer. Come to Him. Some versions use the word supplication. That just simply means I actually believe that He will do it. I actually believe that He will answer me. And it says, do so with thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for hearing me. Thank you, Lord, for being there. Thank you for your peace. But we got to leave it there. Sometimes we try to drag it back. Sometimes we want to give it to God. Lord, take this. Lord, help me. But then we try to assume it again. We try to take it again because, well, obviously I didn't get the answer as quick as I wanted. So I need the peace of God that surpasses all understanding includes time. It doesn't happen maybe the second that I want it to. But when I have the peace of God, I trust, because I have peace with God, I trust that not only is He going to look after me, He's going to grant me what I'm looking for. I'm going to find the answer. I'm going to find the answer. And this is available to all of us. This is available to anyone who will call upon the name of Christ and change our lives. And this is the beauty of understanding this relationship, friends. So if we allow the guidance of what God is offering us, this type of prayer, as Paul talks about prayer and supplication, this is a place where we cast aside self and doubt and fear and worries, and we trust God completely. How do we get there? One day at a time. One day at a time. The peace of God. What a powerful concept. We'll pick back up on that a little bit more tomorrow. And then we'll start looking at the third component of peace. Yeah, there's one more that maybe we don't think about sometimes, but it is capable and it is necessary in order to navigate this life. God bless you, friends. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Making It Simple. I love sharing my heart with you. May God bless you. Have an awesome day.